show is 6 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Sarah, will you do the roll call? Present.
Here.
Present.
Present. Here. Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. We have approval of the agenda. I don't think there's any changes in the agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Bush, to approve the agenda as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, we have the open governmental sunshine. Has anybody signed up? Okay. Let the record show that there's no one to speak under the open governmental process. Approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goff to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bush.
Abstain due to absence.
Let the record show that Mr. Gant abstained due to absence. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We have two public hearings this evening. The first one is for Mountain State Pickleplex.
Yes, this public hearing is a request for waiver. The project is Mountain State Pickleplex, file 2407-212. The developer is JCL Properties LLC, and the engineer is JJ Companies. It's located in the Arden District, tax map 15, parcel 24, and is located on the west side of MRB Range Drive, approximately 750 feet south of Novak Drive. The developer is proposing an 18,000 square foot pickleball recreational facility on 6.2 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The developer is requesting a waiver to section 305.4.1 of the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance requiring WVDOH road frontage in order to proceed through the preliminary final process. The developer submitted this waiver prior to the August 1st, 2024 effective date of the 2024 subdivision and land use ordinance. Since this plat could be submitted under the 2024 ordinance without a variance, staff recommends denial of the waiver and requests that the plat be submitted as an administrative subdivision.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project?
Chris Waddell, JHA Companies.
Thank you, Mr. Waddell. Okay, this is a public hearing. It's your opportunity to make your comments known regarding this project. Please come forward, state your name, your address, and any comments you might have regarding this project. Let the record show that no one wants to speak for this project.
There is no one. I move to close public hearing.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Gant to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, how about you? Do you have questions of Mr. Waddell or the staff?
Mr. Waddell, do you have any objection to the recommendation of staff?
No, we've talked to staff after this has been submitted, and we've talked to our client. We're okay with either withdrawing the application or denial. It's okay either way.
Thank you.
Any additional questions?
Hearing none, Madam President, I make a motion to accept staff recommendation and deny the waiver so that the plat can be resubmitted as an administrative subdivision under the 2024 ordinance.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bush, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to deny the waiver, and the plat will be resubmitted under the 2024 subdivision regulations. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next public hearing is Odina Ridge.
Yes, this is a public hearing for request for waiver. The project is Adena Ridge, file 2408-230. The developer's Panhandle Homes and the engineer's Fox & Associates. It's located in the Hedgesville District, tax map 19, parcel 2.1. The site's located on the south side of Winter Camp Trail, approximately 0.15 miles west of Mountain Lake Road within the Woods subdivision. The developer is proposing 22 villa lots and one single-family detached lot on 9.84 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The developer is requesting a waiver to Section 801, Table 8-1A8, requiring 2 parking spaces on-site and 1 parking space off-site for single-family attached dwellings. The developer is proposing an 18-foot wide and 25-foot long driveway, effectively functioning as 2 parking spaces. Each dwelling will have a 2-car garage, essentially providing 4 parking spaces per dwelling. Since 4 spaces are being proposed on lot, staff recommends approval of the waiver to Section 801, Table 8-1A8.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Yes, good evening. Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates, representing the applicant.
Thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing. It's your opportunity to come forward and make your comments known regarding this project.
Paul Lang, 360 Wampum, Edgesville. Got questions regarding the parking spaces and the allotted number. So we're looking at 4 parking spaces per unit.
You have a series of questions.
Yeah, I got a series of questions. So, so with that, what is the impact study going to be on Mountain Lake Drive as well as Winter Camp, and the impact to the local schools with the, possibly any children, and the water impacts for demand from the Woods water supply? So those would be my questions. Thank you.
Let's get additional questions before we answer.
Diane McGurgan, 317 Peace Pipe Lane, Woods, Edgesville. My question is, how do you fit 4 spaces by these houses? And the water supply, understanding that the Woods is kind of on water, and especially with the drought now. I would like that addressed. I'd like to understand how the 4 parking spaces are, because the pool's there and we have a small parking lot. And if you're gonna overpark for the houses, it's, and that's overflow parking over there for the golf course.
You really need to speak into the microphone because you're being recorded so that we can
Okay.
transcribe it better. Thank you.
Okay, my question again is, I don't understand how they fit 4 spaces. Also where, I saw the layout, but it's very hard to envision. Also, there's overflow parking right there for the golf course when we have tournaments. And the Mountain View pool is there, which has a very small parking lot, and a lot of times we have to use the spaces where the golf overflow parking is. And the last thing is, will we have enough water sufficient for 22 homes? So, and especially now with this drought.
Okay,
Thank you.
Additional questions, please?
Any further questions? I'm making a motion to accept staff or close public hearing.
Second.
Okay, let the record show we have no additional questions. I have a motion by Mr. Gant and second by Mr. Goff to close public hearing. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Okay, Mr. Sianovich, do you want to address the concerns of the citizens?
Yes, I would. First of all, the reason we're here this evening is a parking
They
waiver.
may not be able to hear you. You may have to speak a little louder.
The reason we're here this evening is a parking waiver. We did submit a sketch plan for the project, but as you're all aware, sketch plan's not hard engineering. Sketch plan does not include utility evaluations. That comes after we are, number one, first step is to try to obtain a parking waiver. And this parking waiver that we're seeking is really no different than a parking waiver that I've stood before you countless times on villas, Cardinal Point, Spring Mills. Can't think of any others off the top of my head. Whereas we sought the waiver due to the villa architecture that's been utilized by Panhandle Homes. To answer the question that Mr. Lang posed with regard to parking and the lady that spoke after Mr. Lang, these will have two-car garages. They will have a driveway that is 18 feet wide. So how we arrived at the 4 cars could be parked would be 2 cars in the garage, 2 cars in the driveway, where the driveway is no less than 25 feet in depth, where you know that your standard parking stall is 18 feet in depth. So that's how we arrive at 4 parking spaces, 2 in the garage, 2 in the parking lot, or excuse me, 2 in the driveway. And again, that this waiver request has been made multiple times in the past, especially when we have villas where we're two-car garage and the double-wide driveways. Now, the next question that was posed was schools. As we do with every sketch plan, we do complete the school impact form, which we take the number of lots. There's a multiplier for elementary and middle and high school kids, where a certain type of lot, has that fractional kid that goes to elementary, that goes to junior high, and goes to senior high school. As we always do, that was submitted along with our sketch plan application. We do not submit that directly to the Board of Ed. I don't want to speak for the planning department or staff, but and lastly, both Mr. Lang and the other lady that spoke talked about utilities. Again, we're here this evening for a parking waiver. As you're all aware, that in order to get before this commission for a preliminary plan approval, there's a number of prerequisite approvals and permits that we need. And to talk about the utilities, there's actually three parties that we would seek 4 different pieces of information. And let me take a minute and explain. As I'm sure you're all aware that a few years ago, I don't know the exact date, that Berkeley Water took over the water system. And from what I understand, I believe Berkeley Sewer took over the sewer system. Is that accurate, Justin, to your knowledge? So I go back to the preliminary plat prerequisite requirements. Laura's office will always ask for an approval letter from the Berkeley County Public Service Water District, showing that they have the ability, stating they have the ability to serve this development, or any development for that matter. That same holds true where staff requires a permit or an approval from the Berkeley County Public Service Sewer District, stating that their infrastructure is capable of serving the needs or serving the demands by the number of lots that are proposed by any plan. And also, the last thing we need to seek out prior to ever getting before this planning commission is the water and sewer permits issued by the state. Now, the letters I spoke of from the respective PSDs are a prerequisite requirement of even being able to file for those state permits. Along with those state permits, more so the water, we have to file an evaluation with regard to fire demand and fire protection. That has to be signed, sealed from our office, or if the district would require, the water district require that their consultant be paid to do a water model, we include that signed, sealed document in our submission to the state for issuance of the water permit. We'd never get to the point, if for some reason, let's say water was a problem or sewer was a problem, I'd never get past the first stage, i.e. getting approval from the respective PSDs, the local water folks, the local sewer folks. Again, this is sketch plan is what we're working on. We're not even here tonight for sketch plan. We're here tonight for the parking waiver. So hard engineering was not completed. I have not had really extensive dialogue with Berkeley Water or Berkeley Sewer, no dialogue with Berkeley Sewer for that matter, as far as their ability to serve these 23 lots that are being proposed by this plan that has yet to be officially presented to this planning commission. I hope that answers the questions that were posed.
Planning Commission members, do you have additional questions of Mr. Zianovich or the staff?
There are no additional questions. I'll make the motion to accept staff recommendation, grant the waiver for section 801, table 8-A8.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gantz, second by Mr. Goff, to accept the staff recommendation, and that is to grant the waiver, and this would be a parking waiver for the individual lots. As you heard Mr. Zianovich state, there are still quite a few permits that need to be obtained before it will actually formally come to the planning commission. So with that being said, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aren't they doing something with the water out there anyhow? Yeah,
If you want me to, I can answer a number of those questions.
that's okay. I just know that they're doing something with the water out there. They're updating.
Project 142
They're
is
updating.
probably just doing updates to the system, not upgrades or capacity.
Okay, that concludes our public hearings. The next preliminary plan approval is Rust-Oleum Truck Docks. Thank you, Mr. Lang, for your comment.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a staff report for request for preliminary plan approval. The project is Rust-Oleum Truck Docks, file 2407-209. The developer is Berkeley Business Park Associates, and the engineer is Greenway Engineering. It's located in the Apecan District, Tax Map 6, Parcel 68. The site's located at 1061 Auto Parts Place within the Berkeley Business Park. The developer is proposing a modification of the existing loading dock area and railroad spur. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On August 26, 2024, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The preliminary plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends approval.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening, Jamie McLean with Greenway Engineering.
Thank you, Jamie.
Ryan Shaw with the developer.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of the applicant's representative or of the staff regarding Berkeley Business Park Rust-Oleum Truck Docks?
Hearing none, ma'am, I make a motion to accept preliminary plan.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bush, second by Mr. Gant, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant the preliminary plan approval for Rust-Oleum Truck Docks. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, the next final plat determination is Bellwoods.
Yes, this is a request for final plat determination. The project is Bellwood Section 3, lots 42 through 45. The file is 2401-020. The developer is CBS Plumbing LLC, and the consultant is DeMagno Consulting, Inc. It's located in the Apecan District, Tax Map 16, Parcel 76.32. The site's located on Stormfield Drive West in the Bellwood subdivision, approximately 600 feet south of Plymouth Drive and southeast of Shepherdstown Road. The developer is proposing 4 single-family lots on 4.28 acres to be served by private well and septic. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On August 19th, 2024, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 7th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
Do we have anyone to represent the project, Bellwood, Section 3?
Yes, Andy DeMagno Consulting.
Okay, thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. DeMagno or the staff?
There are no questions. I'll make a motion to accept staff recommendation. Final plat meets the requirements of subdivision ordinance 2009. Therefore, staff recommends final plat determination, advertising of public hearing for consideration, final plat approval on October 7th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Gantz, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to conduct a public hearing on October 7, 2024, at which time the final plat will be considered for approval. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. The next final plat determination is Meadows at Riverside.
Yes, this is a request for final plat determination. The project is Meadows at Riverside, Phase 1, lots 1 through 84 and 140 through 182. The file is 2401-002. The developer is LGI West Virginia, and the engineer is Frederick Seibert and Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 7 and 11, and parcels 169 and 4. This property is located at the southwest side of Broad Lane and the north side of Shell Pit Drive. This project proposes 127 single-family lots on 36 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On August 19th, 2024, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 7th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to represent the project Meadows at Riverside? Moving a little slow there. Oh,
A few weeks ago.
congratulations, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's
It's going-
getting there. Slowly
going
but
well?
surely. Yeah.
How long?
It was 3 weeks ago.
Very
Thursday will be
good.
3 weeks.
Very good, very good.
Ed Schreiber with Frederick Seibert and Associates.
Good to be seen. Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Seibert or the staff?
Hearing none, Madam President, I make a motion to, for final plat determination and advertising a public hearing for October 7th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Bush, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to conduct a public hearing on October 7, 2024, at which time the final plat will be considered for approval. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Good luck. Preliminary final plat approval, Charles Russler.
He skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you want me to read it for you?
Final plat. I'm so excited about Mr. Seibert's hip that I jumped right
Okay.
into it. Okay, we're looking for final plat determination for Meadowcrest.
Yes, this is a request for final plat determination. The project is Meadowcrest, lots 1 through 29. The file is 2407-217. The developer's Panhandle Homes and the engineer's Fox and Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 17, parcel 12, and is located on the northeast corner of the intersection of Beddington Road and Davis Drive. This project proposes 25 single-family detached lots and 4 single-family attached lots on 9.64 acres to be served by public water and sewer. At the October 16th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Section 801, Table 8-1A8, requiring 2 parking spaces on-site and 1 parking space off-site for single-family attached dwellings. On August 27th, 2024, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 7th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
Mr. Sianovich.
Steve Sianovich, Fox and Associates,
Yeah, you're
represent the applicant.
almost a lone star here.
I see that.
Yeah.
Thanks for not juggling the agenda around. I appreciate it.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Sianovich or the staff?
There are none. I'll make the motion with staff recommendation. Final plat meets the requirements of subdivision ordinance 2009. Therefore, staff recommends final plat determination advertising a public hearing is for consideration of final plat approval on October 7th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Gantz, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that's again to conduct a public hearing on October 7th, 2024, at which time the final plat will be considered for approval. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, preliminary final plat approval, Charles Russler.
Yes, this is a request for preliminary final plat approval. The project is Charles Russler, file 2408-234. The developer is Charles Russler and the surveyor is Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Jarrettstown District, tax map 8, parcel 13.16. This site's located on Haymaker Road, approximately 1 mile from its intersection with Hampshire Grade Road. The developer's proposing a 2-acre single-family lot and a 39-acre residue, which both are currently served by private well and septic. No waivers or exceptions were requested. On August 15th, 2024, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The project's compliant with the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends approval of the preliminary final plat.
Do you have anyone to represent the project? See you twice in 1 month.
Michael, just in Wisconsin.
Oh, good for him.
I told Steve, we're doing something wrong. He's been on vacation for 3 weeks now.
Yeah. Call him back.
And when I gotta come, everything's at the bottom of the list when he comes.
No, that's not always true.
No, Michael's always last.
Okay, planning commission members, do you have questions of the staff or of Mr. White?
Seeing none, I'll make the motion we accept staff recommendation. The project is compliant with subdivision ordinance 2009. Therefore, staff recommends approval of preliminary final plat.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Gant, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant the preliminary final plat for Charles Russler. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Tell him you got overtime tonight. Tell him you got paid overtime tonight.
There you go.
Okay, staff, council, discussion, action, motion. Anything? No?
I have 2 questions
Sure.
for staff, quick questions. First, is there, as these plans that are riding either ordinance, is there an easier process for the applicant to administratively move so they don't have to withdraw from one ordinance and reapply?
So Chris's case was really rare
Okay.
because it was before it was placed on a county commission agenda for approval.
I see.
We literally, the waiver a week before. So
Makes sense.
people were submitting afterwards, and I was like, just wait until August 1st. His just got caught at a really bad time.
Okay.
So it shouldn't happen anymore.
All right. And second, I didn't bring it up during the hearing. I figured this would get caught up in maybe the sketch phase for the Odina. Is that what it is? The definition of on-lot parking, it looks like part of this parking is in the right-of-way.
It is part of it is in the right of way. This one here negotiated. They're going, the problem that they're going to have is they're not going to, I don't even know how they're going to do septic.
Well, my
And
thought
so
is,
what we did,
Yeah.
let me finish. What I did was we let them have a little bit here. Look on there, this road's gonna have paved shoulders rather than gravel. We did that so we could up and give a little bit more distance to parking. So it was in the right of way road. We're gonna get sidewalks. Because there was a limited number of houses. So we basically used 6 foot increased for walking with no parking with close. That's gonna serve as a sidewalk, but they do not have any room to push these. It was either to make this property workable, find a solution. What's going to happen in this stormwater? They're literally going to be on a 2-to-1 slate trying.
my,
In the past, we had situations
Say the contours.
where parking
That's what I said, it's a
Crazy.
2-to-1 slope, literally
going
all
into
of
the
that
right of
roadway.
way line.
Uh-huh.
But it impeded the sidewalks, so we
Yeah.
kind of just.
We make
If
sure
you're
that-
out of the sidewalk, you're still within the right of way.
Yeah.
But you're out of the sidewalk, so nothing will be
Yeah.
impeded.
And we have had a few of those come through that we've done that with, just to. how do you put it?
Use common sense.
Yeah, I mean, we want people to be able to walk up and down the sidewalk without having
The
a
Dodge
truck sitting
hitch or
in it,
something, yeah.
an F-350 service truck that somebody goes to work in. So there's actually more room there than in the past that we've given. There's 25 feet from the garage door back. The average length of a standard pickup is 1 to 20. I mean, it's.
Technically, all lots should be served by parking or parking lot. We should, would kind of be silly to make them do that if they can grab.
I'm with you. I'm not worried about this project, but more so future projects.
Well, we're trying to
that-
stop the right of way. That's where we've had kind of a discussion with some that come in here. Did leave it, and it's my fault. I'll take the heat for it. I did let a few go out where they were stuck, and I said, well, as long as you keep it behind the sidewalk, we'll let it go. Now, we literally said to people, no, it's behind the right of way. That was, we're trying to push it back to the right of way.
Mhm.
In this case here, they had an open ditch section, not using some together. That's not happening.
We've put parking blocks there so they can't back up. Doesn't that fix the problem or help it?
Not really. I mean, getting the 6-foot improved shoulder as a sidewalk along the side of the road, quite frankly, that was like really, because I don't think that you're going to see a lot of younger people. Maybe some singles. Those are.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll leave it
I
up
thought that
to.
the sidewalk went all the way around. If I could get that, and it was either that or I was gonna have the vehicles park in the sidewalk. I mean, there was no way around this. They can't.
Fair enough. And my only question is, thinking about the sketch phase, are there any qualifiers that need to be added to this project
No,
with
'cause
reference
these
to
guys,
on-site
we hashed
parking?
it out when they came in, and like I said, I mean, I just know that the big battle was coming.
Nothing ordinance wise, but they would still have to wait. The right of way and parking in the right of way is all pretty much. Don't want cars to go out into the right of way, but if it's off of the sidewalk, then essentially keeping the same that we would ask for anyway.
Yeah, the ones you have seen, ones you will see, like that, they are, we vetted to know either a reason why we're trying to do it, to serve something. It's absolutely, they need it. In this case, they do need it. Otherwise, they're gonna lose a lot of yield.
Gotcha.
To be, how do you put it, as fair as possible.
That's all we can ask.
Should we have talked about that during the project?
Well, the waiver says on-site.
It's not the sketch.
Yeah, I mean, if
You're gonna
anything,
wait, wait till the sketch plat comes in and then address
Well,
this?
it's not non-compliant with the sketch.
Right,
is what
I
I'm getting at.
agree.
So like, it's like a design standard that's really left up to the county engineer, and it's where we kind of have our discretionary stuff that we can kind of, I guess, discuss and try to figure out. But it's, I guess in our terms, push as much as we can to get it out of the right of way in terms of parking. It's just one of those situations where we were able to get sidewalk on both sides of the streets and have parking out of that sidewalk. So it is.
yeah, I agree. I think the waiver's fine. My only concern is what is in the file at some later point to say, well, we're going to let this on-site parking bleed out into the right-of-way, because we got the 6-foot paved shoulders, because, it's not gonna
We're trying not
impede.
to do that. That's not, I didn't like what I did. That
Yeah.
was- it
No, I
was,
think it's fine.
It was a lesser of two evils. So
But it worked.
the fight would have come if we'd have started really cutting. We would have cut into the yield. They would have ended up with that. And that's all would have come anyways with the storm.
They're, like
But
Doug
they
said,
have-
I would be surprised if they don't lose houses based on the grade and when has to be done out there. Don't be surprised if you see that you get approved, but it's more than that now. The stormwater come in and they because they don't, the grades out there, they're not gonna work.
Will that be
They want
back
to-
for a public hearing at that time?
Not, well, if they're reducing yield, so they'll have their public hearing for the sketch plan, because it's under
Yeah.
the 09. But if their yield changes and it goes down instead of up, it won't go to public hearing. Better situation for those that would be affected.
Yeah, I just want things to be transparent to the community whenever any approvals start happening.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that we all fielded a lot of calls and emails about this project because we're very sensitive. Those are governed by the public service, because those are taking over. Try to tell people, look, like, we're not the ones that have to prove that you have the water yield. They're not the ones that have to prove the water yield. It's water and sewer departments that essentially approve these laws.
They gave them real surveys. Didn't say they couldn't have water, but yeah, there's water there.
Yeah,
So they didn't turn it off. And I mean, the other thing to think about with the parking thing is just remember, these are a little bit different than some of the townhouses. These have a two-car. On one car, dinky little 8-foot wide one gets to the car garage. So I'm assuming most of these people probably have two cars, which more than likely one's gonna be in the garage, and that still leaves you space in the driveway, plus the other half of the garage, garage is usable, because the other half of the garage can be made the storage bin or the parking of the lawnmowers, you know, that kind of thing,
Motorcycles.
if that's the case. Yeah. But, I mean, I think this was one, it was a lot easier to get what we wanted, but I'm being 100% honest with you. I don't see how they're going to this number out and get stormwater. I mean, the slope is egregious. There's no room. They would have to do some level spreader, which in this case is going to be on the order of 40 to 100 feet long. So you can look on the plan. Well, where are they going to put that? In somebody's yard? Because that's all they got.
Well, I guess
yards.
to your point though, too, we can have Steve put a note on the plaque that says this situation, parking, X amount of feet into the right of way, and provided sidewalks out of that area. I don't know. Like
I'll leave it up to you all. I just thought it was worth a conversation about what's the standard by which we're allowing an on-site parking space extend into a right-of-way.
If that
Fair
answers
point.
your question, but I can sit here and tell you, never, but tomorrow I'm not
Yeah,
going to be at a meeting.
I understand.
We've seen situations where we've approved like a waiver to townhouse lot, where down at the garage is one spot, which we know no one's gonna park in the garage. And there's only a 1-car driveway, and half the time it hangs over into the sidewalk, and kids, people, Dodge, truck hitches, back of people's cars, and that situation, we recommended approval, and the parking is technically out of the right of way, but it's a much worse situation than what this will have. So it's kind of like we've learned from our mistakes, So we try to, I guess, things, and there's no good way to keep track of it, but we remember which ones we've said yes to and which ones we said absolutely not to.
And Steve will tell you.
They remember too. Yeah, exactly. So, there's no good way, but it is a discretionary thing, which is helpful.
And we should have discretionary issues like that you all can handle, that it don't have to come before us. I'm a firm believer in that.
I mean, in this one here, I kind of, like I said, I walked out of the meeting and said to her, they're never going to get that. So, they don't even show stormwater. They were just like, oh, we're going to do these couple of things.
And it's going,
We can
and
only review
it's,
the
and it's,
same
and it's
ones. They
going,
haven't sent revisions in.
and
So
it's-
I'll be
They
curious to
already
see
have
what
it.
it looks like.
We have it going.
Based on our comments.
Thank you.
They're already. Okay, if there's nothing else,
Move to adjourn.
motion by
and it's
Mr.
not gonna
Goff
look the same when it comes back. I don't believe so.
6:41. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.